Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody? This is John Mason. Tomorrow is Mother's Day, and that is a time we pay our respects to all the women in our lives, our mothers, and our wives, and our girlfriends, and our sisters, and every other woman we come across. Happy Mother's Day, ladies. And if we want the best for the women in our lives, we must protect their reproductive rights. There are all these states going around that places the most onerous restrictions on abortions. Like, you can only have an abortion after so many weeks before you even know, the woman even knows that there's a fetus inside of her. And you remembered Katie Britt, the senator from Arkansas, who had this very bad case of ham acting after Biden's State of the Union address. Is that the best the Republicans can do? Well, anyway, she has this bright idea of a database. She's proposing this bill that would establish a database for all women who are pregnant. Hello, 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 John Mason. How is everybody? Hope you all doing well. I hope America's doing well. Well, the word is getting out about Project 2025, the nasty little fever dream of the Heritage Foundation. And a policy Bible of another, God forbid, Trump regime. A full-on plan for authoritarianism, dictatorship, and this the land of the free. All power will be conglomerated into the executive branch, with no input or resistance from the legislative or the judicial. I don't think Trump would have any problem with the judicial because he's loaded the Supreme Court with his patsies. And do these conservatives think that we're just gonna sit back and take it? I remember the interview over Real America's Voice by Kevin Rogers. He's the president of the Heritage Foundation. And he brags that he's leading a second American revolution. If the left, and it said it would be bloodless if the left allows it. In other words, he wants us to just sit back and take it. Sit back and take our rights being taken away. Sit back and let protections for civil rights and voting rights be taken away. Sit back and let LGBTQ people be oppressed. Sit back and let women's right to their reproductive rights, control of their own bodies, be taken away. Sit back and let our schools be gutted of a real learning. Sit back and let our libraries be censored by a gang of illiterate yahoos. And sit back and let our kids be cannon fodder for their wars. First, let me state this. I have the most profound respect for the men and women of our armed forces and our veterans. I say this with no disrespect. But part of Project 2025 is for public schools to have their students have them take the Armed Forces vocational evaluation test, whatever they call it, to evaluate what kind of MOS they would be put in the military if there's a draft. And that's for kids in public schools. Kids in private schools, where the rich kids go to get their education wasted on them, will not have to take this test. Which means rich guys will start the wars and poor kids will fight them. Class warfare, cats and kittens. And we're supposed to just sit back and take it. The hell we will. I assure you that if our rights are taken away, we will resist to the maximum. And I'm pleased that that even the mainstream commercial news media is getting the word about Project 2025. And MSNBC host Joy Reid is going to put out a regular series about Project 2025 and the dangers it poses. And you can bet I'm going to sound the warning full blast about this insidious plot to destroy our democracy, our freedoms, what makes America America. Unless, but, and the first thing we can do is to not be distracted about any silly business about Biden's age. What about Trump's age? Biden is about 81 and Trump's about 78. So is Trump a kid? Is he this young stallion, this spring chicken? He's also up there in age. And ageism. Just because you're of a certain age doesn't mean you're incompetent. Some people are older than you, some people are younger than you. Has nothing to, it's part of the natural cycle of life. Has nothing to do with you as a person. And Joe Biden has spent his entire career in public service. And he had no problem being vice president under Barack Obama. They were partners. They were a team together. Whereas Trump just rattles off this weird stuff at his rallies. Biden spoke about the necessity of NATO and how it's kept the peace in Europe for all these decades. And what's Trump talking about? Nothing about policy, nothing about gun violence or narcotics or NATO. Just rattling some weird stuff about electric boats and sharks and windmills killing eagles, all that nonsense. And his followers lap it up. In other words, let's pay some attention to Trump's talk, his racism, his sexism, his anti-Semitism. Yes, he's anti-Semitic and racist. And he goes by these, oh sure, he tries these silly little outreach things to the African American community, and he thinks he can win them over by hawking his $400 gold-plated sneakers and having on stage with him at that rally in the Bronx two hardcore rappers who have their own felony charges against them, including murder. But what do you expect from a 34-year count convicted felon? I'm talking about Trump. My friends, if we don't want Project 2025 to be for real, let's pay attention to the danger that Trump poses. Remember his idiocies. Remember how he neglected this country's death toll from COVID, and how he kowtowed to Putin on all his stupid statements. I'm now thinking about his genius idea of trying to stop hurricanes by dropping a nuclear bomb in them. Remember that genius move? As we educate ourselves about the danger of Trump and the dangers of Project 2025, on November 5th, take your asses out there to the polling booth and vote. Vote like your country depends on it. Vote like your children depend on it. Vote like your fellow Americans depend on it, because it does. I'm coming on pretty strong, but it's serious business. Trump is a danger to us. Trump is a maniac. Trump is stupid and incompetent. As opposed to Biden, who's done pretty well in his 3.5 years so far, of increasing employment, and the stock market's been going off the charts lately. Do you think our capitalist class wants a second Trump administration? Not that I give a goddamn about them, but do you think they want another administration where the Dow Jones stock market kept dropping and dropping? I don't think so. But get out there and vote. Bottom line. And this is one more blow, and there would be one more blow against Trump and the fascist menace he poses. Okay? Alrighty then. Advertisements. All this work I do, this podcast, my YouTube channel, my blog, all my media work, it costs money. And I need to be paid for my work. Like any other work, I deserve to be paid. It would help me to defray the cost of my running this podcast and my other media, and hopefully to raise it to a higher level. So, please get on my website, johnomason.com, and click either the Buy Me a Coffee button or the PayPal button, and see how much you can donate. I would greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. I don't want to be beholden to anybody but you. And my novel, Soldier of the Cross, is available on Amazon.com. It's the story of David Lucas, who as a young man in the early 60s is a drunk and a whore chaser and a school bully. He gets in trouble in the army. He comes out of the army a born-again Christian, a fanatical, manly man who just wants to serve Jesus. But how he goes about it leads him to catastrophe. Please pick it up. Soldier of the Cross on Amazon.com. And also, Hamperific is a lovely little CBD product store located on Snyder Avenue near 15th Street in South Philadelphia. There you'll find some of the finest cannabis-infused products. Gummies and candies and lip balm and flour and hand sanitizer and drinks and dog treats. Dog treats, yeah. Look them up, please. Hemperificllc.com. And my beloved career and business coach, Michelle Snow. Michelle is excellent in helping you develop your professional career or small business, let you know what you're doing right, where you need work, and help you network with other up-and-coming entrepreneurs and professionals. Please look her up. growwithsnow.com. Okay? Alrighty then. That's the job we have ahead of us. It's our responsibility to educate ourselves about the danger of Trump, the history of Trump, and the danger posed by Project 2025. And take your asses out there November 5th and vote, please. Like I said, your country depends on it. We all depend on it. The world depends on it. Okay then. Have a good weekend. Shabbat Shalom. Bye.